Welcome to Friends. I'm Charlie Cruz. Today we're getting into Chinamaxxing, the TikTok trend where a generation of burnt-out, broke Americans started boiling apples, drinking hot water, and going to bed at 9, and using an idealized version of China to roast everything they feel cheated of at home. We're checking what actually holds up, what's a curated highlight reel, and who's cashing in on all of it. There's a caption going around TikTok right now. You've met me at a very Chinese time in my life. And underneath it, a kid in New Jersey is boiling an apple, wearing slippers indoors, drinking hot water like it's a personality, going to bed at 9, doing gua sha in the mirror and telling you it's an ancient secret. They call it Chinamaxxing, becoming Chinese, your very Chinese era. And it is everywhere, because it's two things stacked on top of each other. 1, a wellness glow-up, slow down, eat congee, rest. 2, a roast of America. Bullet trains, walkable cities, $2 noodle soup, drone delivery, all edited together to make a broke, burnt-out American 20-something go, wait, why don't we have any of that? So is this a real generational turn toward China? Genuine appreciation? A harmless meme? Or just self-care with a new accent? Let's actually check it. Here's what's being sold, and it's a double sale. Sale number 1 is the wellness pitch. Traditional Chinese medicine, moderation, balance, warm food, early nights, all framed as the cure for Western burnout. The face of this is a creator named Sherry Zhu, 23, Chinese-American in New Jersey, around 740,000 followers. Her whole lane is teaching what she calls Chinese baddie habits. Her hot water video reportedly cleared 5.5 million views. And what makes it spread is that it's copyable. It takes a whole worldview and shrinks it to a checklist. Boil an apple, drink hot water, wear slippers. Anybody can do that by Tuesday. Sale number 2 is bigger and quieter. It's political. The clips of trains and cheap food and EVs aren't really a love letter to Beijing. Fortune called it an indictment of America. The pitch is, the future is being built, and it's being built somewhere that isn't here. Who profits off that feeling? Creators get the clout, media gets a clean story, Gen Z versus their own country, and the Chinese state gets to nod along because its foreign ministry literally endorsed the trend and pointed to a bump in holiday flight bookings. The mechanism underneath all of it is projection. One analyst at Ogilvy, Reed Littman, called China a canvas. You paint onto it everything you feel cheated of. Community, competence, affordable school, cities that work, somebody taking care of their elders. China becomes the screen, and you project your wish list. And the reason it lands? The grievances are real, and it costs you nothing. You're not switching sides. You're trying something on. So let's get into what actually holds up, because some of this is solid and some of it is a highlight reel. First, the trend is real. This isn't one post somebody screenshotted. Time, Fortune, AP, a UK marketing trade group, all covered it within a few months, all pointing to the same caption and the same core creator. That's reporting level confirmation. It existed, it went viral. Second, and this matters, the scale evidence is concentrated. Almost all the big numbers trace back to that one account, Sherry Zhu. The 740K, the 5.5 million views, that tells you it blew up. It does not tell you how many people actually started living this way versus watched it and laughed and kept doom scrolling. Nobody's got a clean count on that. Third, the timing. The memes built for about a year, then spiked around Lunar New Year, Year of the Horse, which screams seasonal moment, not permanent migration. Now the part that's genuinely true. The economic pain underneath this is documented, and it's bad. American tuition, healthcare, housing, all of it has gotten brutal over the decades, and that disillusionment is real. Fortune put numbers on the comparison. US public university running tens of thousands versus a few thousand for a whole degree in China. Higher household healthcare costs here. Housing eating a quarter to a third of an American paycheck. An average Gen Z student loan figure they cited around $94,000. Tuition up over 150% in real terms since the early 80s. A third of Gen Z saying they think they'll never own a home. Hold on though. Those specific comparison figures are from one outlet, presented without granular sourcing. Treat them as journalism, not gospel. And the China side of every one of those numbers leaves out the context. Lower incomes over there. Huge regional gaps. Residency rules that gate who actually gets the subsidized stuff. Plus their own youth unemployment problem. So the direction of the grievance? Real. The exact scoreboard? Curated. Which is the whole thing about the infrastructure clips. Sources literally call it infrastructure porn. A UCLA researcher, Caroline Ouellet, described it as engaging with a hyper-real, symbolic China, a version that edits well, not the lived one. And the soft power red is legit. AP and Time both frame becoming Chinese as evidence China's cultural pull is growing, surfaced by everyday social media scenes that complicate the old stereotypes. But notice, the state endorsing it is not the state inventing it. The reporting frames this as organic content that Beijing opportunistically amplified. Calling it a top-down psyop would be overreach. It's a flag to keep in mind, not a smoking gun. Now the wellness claims. Drink hot water, boil apples for digestion, gua sha as ancient cure. Here's the honest version. The sources describe these as oversimplified checklists pulled away from the actual philosophy. Nobody in this reporting presents clinical evidence that any of it delivers the health outcomes being promised. So enjoy your hot water. It's not medicine because TikTok said so. And then the part worth sitting with longest, the appreciation versus appropriation argument. This is not manufactured outrage from the comments. It's coming from inside the diaspora. Creators like Vanessa Lee and Kathy Pham and Ouellet raising it themselves. Their point is specific. The same markers that got Asian kids bullied, your lunch smells weird, are now aesthetic. Practices get stripped of context, like an Adidas jacket using Mandarin as decoration. And consuming a marginalized culture as a vibe can be what bell hooks called eating the other. But the same reporting notes plenty of participants credit their sources, share family stories, and are diaspora themselves. So this resists a clean verdict. The honest landing is somewhere in between, pride and memory at the same time. So here's where I come down. Chinamaxxing is real as a moment, soft and seasonal as a movement, and mostly a mirror, not a window. Young Americans are not choosing China. They're using an edited, idealized China to name what they feel robbed of at home. Affordable school, transit that works, community, somebody caring for their grandparents. The robbery is real, and it's documented. The China has it all figured out picture is a highlight reel. The state is glad to boost and brands are glad to monetize. Watch how fast Gucci and Apple and Nike roll out their red packet Lunar New Year drops. The marketing world even has a warning label for that. Culture washing. The wellness habits are low stakes and honestly kind of charming. Go to bed early, eat warm food, slow down, fine, great. Just know drink hot water is an aesthetic, not a prescription. And if you take one thing, take this. When you catch yourself envying a future on your screen, check whether that future actually exists out there, or whether it just edits really, really well. The disappointment you feel is legit. The screen you're projecting it onto is somebody's product. That's it for today's episode of Ferns. If you're out here drinking hot water and calling it ancient wisdom, respect. Just know the screen you're projecting onto is somebody's product. I'm Charlie Cruz. See you next time.
Grab news. Thomas.